This tutorial is going to show you how to edit and customize the high ticket application template that's already loaded into your Bucket account. So to begin with, I'm at the login screen for Bucket. You have the option to choose 1.0 or 2.0. So if you have yet to log into your Bucket account, you'll want to select 2.0 in the upper right-hand corner. It's already going to log me in, but you will need the email address that you signed up with and then the password that you created when you set up your account. And you can ask to reset your password if need be as well at that screen. But now I'm all logged in. So this is the Bucket dashboard. The only thing that you need to focus on is going to be this section up here in the top navigation where it says templates. So I'm going to click that. The template that we're going to be working with is this middle one in the top row. It's called the high ticket application funnel. So a couple things you can do here. You can preview this so you can get a really good idea of what it's going to look like. So I'll just do a couple clicks through this so you can see. Pretty straightforward landing page. We have our logo up here, countdown timer. You're going to see a couple call to action buttons throughout this page. This is a video that Ryan shot that we're going to be replacing with your own. And then again, another call to action down here. There'll be a couple questions. Just note that when you're doing a preview, you do have to either select an answer or type some text in the box to advance to the next screen. I won't go through the whole thing, but this will just give you an idea of what we're going to do. You can also look at the funnel flow. So this is going to be just a little diagram that's going to show you exactly what we're going to be working on here. So you have your pre-quiz page, a couple questions, your quiz results, lead capture, and then the thank you page. So I'm going to go back to templates up here in the upper left-hand corner. So we know that this is the one we're going to use. So you just go to this little button here with the three dots where it says options, and then you hit select and customize. This is going to take you into the funnel builder where we can start editing different elements of this and kind of customizing it to align with your brand's identity if you have one, to change out some of the questions because you'll for sure need to do that. I mean, in most cases you will. So when you log in here, we're looking at the canvas. So the canvas is the section of Bucket 2.0 where you're basically building the funnel flow. So I always recommend kind of working through this section first and make sure that your flow is set up the way you want it to be set up. And then we can go back in and sort of customize everything, like change out some colors, things of that nature. So basically here, you're at the pre-quiz page. We're going to go ahead and come back to the pre-quiz page because most of that is just changing out some text boxes, changing colors, adding your logo, all of that. So I'm going to stay in the canvas and we're going to focus on question 1. As I mentioned before, chances are you are going to have to change some of these questions. It would be pretty odd if these perfectly aligned with what you're doing. So to start with, we have question 1. And you can see here when you hover over the question, you've got some icons down here. You have an edit option. You have the option to duplicate this question, which you probably won't need to do. And then if you need to get rid of any questions that are in the sequence, you can hit this trash can and you can delete it. Couple things on building questions that I want you to be aware of. So I'm just going to scroll in here really quick. You can see that each component in a funnel flow is connected by these little tabs and this gray line. So that does need to be connected for each piece. I'm going to delete this so you can see what happens. So they turn red, letting you know that there's a break in the flow. And then you're going to get a warning sign up here in the upper right-hand corner, letting you know that something is unconnected and you won't be able to advance and or publish this funnel until that's fixed. So if you are going to be going in here and deleting questions, maybe adding new questions, just be aware that you are going to have to break those connections once you delete the question, and then you're going to have to reconnect. Reconnecting is very easy. You're just going to click on one tab and drag it over to the following question. So I'll do that one more time. You just hover over it to delete it. grab it from one side and connect it to the other. And then you can see I'm back to 0 warnings over here. So I'm going to scroll out just a little bit again. So we're starting, I believe there's about 6 questions in this flow. A couple things to make note of with this specific template. Ryan and the team spent a lot of time creating this template for you exactly for this purpose of the high ticket application for this boot camp. So they set it up in such a way that you really don't have to make a lot of edits to this to make it effective and for it to do exactly what Ryan planned for it to do. So we do recommend not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Just kind of stick to the basic structure that we have. I'm going to show you how to change just a few items, but we really don't want you to get hung up on this whole process of like really diving into Bucket if you have not yet used the platform or trying to make some crazy complex funnel for this very simple task of just getting the application for your high ticket bootcamp. So we're going to go ahead and start with question 1. This is an open-ended question, meaning this is going to allow your participant to just fill up the text box with a bunch of text. So to edit this, I'm going to click in Edit in Builder. So this is an easy way to quickly edit all of the questions. This is going to,
listen, a few weeks ago, we sent a survey asking people what
this is going to help you kind of stay here with all the questions rather than having to pop back and forth from the builder to Canvas to the builder to Canvas. So in this particular question, it just says, tell me a little bit about your business. So I guess this isn't necessarily a question, but, and then down here, there's some specific details. What market or markets are you in? What do you sell and or what services do you provide? So this is just kind of giving them a little guidance of, you know, what you're looking for. So to edit this, it's very easy. You're just going to highlight what's there. And you enter your new question there. If you need to edit these text boxes down here, you can do the same. Please be as detailed as possible. So quite simple. It's not really much else you need to focus on here. There's maybe one thing that you may want to change out, and I'll show you that real quick before I move on. So this little progress bar up here, you can see that they're using the colors, kind of this teal color and this orange color. If you do want to change that out, that is going to be up here in a pop-up property. So you're going to click pop-up properties, and then down here, we do suggest that you have the progress bar on, so I would just leave that as is. Same thing with the start percentage, it's 30%. Change the color, you just click there in the bar, and then you can slide this over and you can select any color that you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at that for now. And that's just to show you how you change that slider bar, because I feel like that might be a question that comes up. So once you've got that set, again, we just clicked in the text box, change out the question, add some description if you want. You can also just leave that blank. Now you're going to go up here where I'm hovering my mouse here by Q1. There's a little drop down here, this black arrow that points down. You click that, and then you can see here all of the questions that we have in the sequence. So there's 6 of them. We've already done question 1. Now this is going to allow you to just click Q2. And you can see Q2 pops up. Our change that we made to the progress bar is going to carry over to every question, so you don't have to do that every time. Now I'm just going to click in here. What is question number 2? You just type in your question there. Now this is a multiple choice question. And again, we do recommend that you stick with the open-ended question to begin with, so you can gather a little bit of information, go to a couple multiple choice questions to make it nice and easy for your participant, and it's a good way for you to gather the pertinent information. So if you happen to need to delete an option, say maybe you don't want all of these options here, you just hover over the option. You'll see this little menu pop up over here, the 3 dots, and you can delete that choice. If you need to add another option, you just click down here where it's gray. And then you're going to type new option here. If you need to edit any of these that are in here, you're just going to click button by button, section by section. and type in all of your answer options. So pretty straightforward. Again, it takes a little bit of time to go through this. So, just kind of click through each one. It also helps if you have everything typed out in maybe like a Google Doc or an Excel spreadsheet prior to coming into Bucket, because then that way you can just copy and paste everything. But if you want to just work through question by question and type it in, you can certainly do that. So you would just go to Q3. Again, this is an open-ended question. And just keep this pretty much all the way it is. So we're going from like open-ended to multiple choice to open-ended to multiple choice. So you would just work through this list until you get to question 6. And then you are done with your questions. A couple things on this page I want to mention before I move on. So there is no save button when we're working in the Canvas in the Builder in Bucket. So it's auto save, and you can see up here that the changes were saved about a minute ago. So if you are kind of moving fast, you just want to make sure that you're always glancing up here to make sure that it is in fact saving. And then at any point, if you want to preview your funnel, you can just hit this green button up here and you'll preview. So now that we have our questions complete, I'm going to pop out back to the Canvas. I'm going to scroll out a little bit here again. So again, we've got our pre-quiz page, which is your landing page. So as soon as somebody clicks the link, that's the page that they're going to land on. And you saw that in the preview where the video of Ryan popped up. We're going to come back to that, but we've got all of our questions sorted. And since I added a new option here, it's asking me, I have a warning. So it's asking me to reconnect this tab to question 3. So that's complete. These will all be done already because you're going to do those all in the Builder with the drop down one by one. And then we're moving on to quiz results. There's nothing that you need to do to this section. We are going to send, we labeled this all survey takers because all survey takers are going to flow through the quiz results. This section is something that your participant will not see. So there's nothing here to stylize. There's nothing here to add. This is very straightforward. You literally do not have to touch this section. So we'll just let that be. Next is the lead capture section. It's a very important section. This is where you're going to ask for their contact information. And again, that's all going to be done in the Builder with the stylizing. So we'll just leave that for now. And the same thing with the thank you page. So I'm just going to go down here to this little square so I can zoom out. I'm going to drag this around, zoom in a little bit. And now we're ready to edit the pre-quiz page. So I'm going to click this green button where it says edit. This is the landing page that we saw when I previewed it for the first time. So I'll scroll down so you can see what this looks like. Again, it's pretty simple. There's, not a ton of pictures and colors and things like that on this page. We purposefully wanted to keep it really simple for you. So I'll just kind of show you some of the main things that you're going to have to edit on this page. So starting with this title, Wealth Coaching, that is a generic logo. So you're going to need to change that out. If you don't have a logo, that's perfectly fine, not a big deal. You can just click on this. You can find this trash can and you can delete it. If you do happen to have a logo, you just want to double click on it. So when you've uploaded a lot of images in Bucket, they're all going to populate right here. So they kind of follow you to every funnel that you're working on. So I have my Bucket logo already saved in here, right there. But if you don't have any images in there yet, you can just click here to upload. And that'll grab images from your desktop if you have any folders on there or anything like that. So I'm just going to select my Bucket logo, hit confirm, and there's my logo. So you can see here that's getting a little washed out with the background. So I might want to change the background color of this column or this row right here, this teal color. So all you need to do to change that color is just make sure that the whole thing is highlighted. And you can see here where the blue is outlining everything, that I've got that whole section selected. So now I'm going to go over here where it's these two tools. This is our properties section. You're just going to click that. I'm going to scroll down. And I'm looking for that teal color because that's how I know that it's the same section and I want to change that color. So I'm just going to click here in this box. You can also just select the hex code and type in your hex code if you know what that is. I'm going to use the color selector and I'm just going to do a gray. And again, you can see we're auto saving with every change that we make. So next we'll move over to the countdown timer. So we highly recommend keeping the countdown timer on your page to create that sense of urgency. Again, you can see that I've got it semi-selected. It is at least finding it and it says countdown in that little label. So I know I'm in the right spot. So I'm just going to click that. And now I've highlighted that whole section. I'm going back over to properties and I'm just going to scroll up to the top. So you want to make sure you're always here. You've got this selected. It'll turn green when you're in the right section. And now you can change the time. So you can bump this up to 20 minutes. You can add hours to it. You can add days. It's completely up to you. So once the timer runs down, there's going to be some text that populates there. So it's not just empty with a timer that's stopped. So ours is set to say expired. You can certainly leave that as it is. I'll just retype it so you can see how easy it is to just type in your text right there. And then you also have the option to, once this ticks down, if you want to go ahead and redirect. So if somebody clicks up there, if they'll go to another page, which we do recommend doing as well, you don't necessarily have to if you don't have anywhere to send them, that's perfectly fine. But some people will hit that redirect page and then maybe they'll put in their scheduling link or just send them to your website so that they're not just completely lost. But that's completely up to you. I'm just going to uncheck that for now. And that's as easy as it is to edit the countdown timer. Moving on. This button over here, our first call to action where it just says click here to continue. We recommend keeping that text the same. You may want to change the color. So again, I'm just highlighting this button. I'm still in properties. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, there it is. So sorry, that got lost a little bit. You're going to click background color. And then again, you're just going to look for that specific box, click in there, and then I'll just make it that teal color and hit OK. And we'll move on. So pretty easy to do that. You don't have to make a whole lot of changes up there. And I do recommend just keeping it as simple as possible. One thing to note about our templates is if you try to reinvent the wheel and start, changing out these columns and these rows, it can really throw off the formatting of the template and create a lot of headaches. So the less that you're straying from the way that this looks, the better your experience is going to be with Bucket and the quicker that you'll get this done. So we do recommend, again, I can't stress it enough, just to keep this really, really simple. This text doesn't really need to be changed at all. So you can just leave this as is. If you feel compelled to go ahead and edit it, all these text boxes, you just double click inside, highlight the text, delete it, and then type your new text there. But you just have to click in each box and you can see the editor pop up. So the video, and you saw in the preview that the video did pop up and it started playing right away. It was on autoplay. When you're in the builder, something to note, so don't think that anything is broken or it's not working, but when you're in the builder, which is where we are at right here, even after you upload your video, you're not going to be able to see it. And we did write a little note here that said you can preview it by clicking the preview button right up here. So I'll show you how to add the video. And then once we're done with everything, we'll preview it and you'll see that the video actually pops up there. So it's just something to note. So to do the video, you just want to make sure that you, again, have this whole section highlighted and you can tell because the video label has populated there. We're going to stay in properties right over here. And then I'm going to go to change properties. So I just clicked change properties. So because Ryan's video was Wistia, the Wistia upload process is happening. So basically when you're using Wistia, they're asking for embed code, which looks like this. And if you're not familiar with where to get your embed code from Wistia, I recommend just, and I think we do have knowledge base articles that will help you help identify all of that. But you can also go to Wistia's support center or, just Google it and you should be able to figure out pretty quickly where you can get that embed code from. It's usually pretty easy to find. If you're not using Wistia, we do work with other platforms. So you're certainly not stuck to a Wistia video. And if you're going to be using something else, just hit select another platform right down here. And now you can see you have the option for YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia pops up again. And then if you're using something else, you can use that, you can click that as well. So since you just saw the embed code and how you upload Wistia, I'm going to show you how to work with YouTube. So I'm just going to click YouTube. So with YouTube, it asks for a video ID. So I'm going to just delete the one that's there. Got my YouTube account already pulled up. And this is the ID number that you need. So it's the string of numbers and letters that's going to be at the end of your URL for that particular video. So just make sure that you've got the URL set to just that one, not, your whole collection of videos. And then I'm just going to copy this, paste it in. I'm going to click that it autoplays. So as soon as they hit the page, it'll autoplay. You can loop the video if you want, show playback controls, which is always smart, and show related videos, which I don't necessarily recommend. So I'm just going to leave that off. And then you want to hit save video. So this is one section where you do have to hit the save button. So just be mindful of that. There's no auto save on this. I'm going to hit save video. And again, it's not populating there right now, but I'll show you in the preview that it has changed. And of course, that's always something that you want to check. You always want to preview your funnel before you, send the link out there anyway, but that's definitely something you want to be mindful of. And then again, we've got another button, keep the text the same. If you absolutely want to change the color, you can. I've already showed you how to do that. And then down here, you've got your footer. So this is a section that you're going to have to pay attention to. If you don't have anything to put in this footer, that's perfectly fine. You would just highlight this whole row as it is now and find the trash can and you can remove the whole section. So you don't have to worry about that. However, if you do have information to put down here, you just want to make sure that you go through and you update each section. So I'm going to change title traffic to Bucket.io. So if you are going to keep that, everybody's going to have to change that because it says title for everyone. So maybe you only want to have 3 links down here. I'm going to go ahead and just select this. And then this little trash can icon will pop up and you just delete it and it disappears. If you happen to do that prematurely and you want to bring it back, you just head over here to this arrow button. This is our undo, and it'll come back. Again, deleting it, and you can bring it back. So each of these are going to require a link. As in most footers, your participant's going to be clicking down there wanting to read your About Us section or your privacy policy or something like that. So I'm just going to show you how you add in your privacy policy. And also, if you don't happen to have a place to send somebody, like say you don't have a website or you don't have a contact us section or About Us, we do have a feature in Bucket that allows you to create those pages and then link them here. So I'll show you where you can link them. And then I'll also point out in our knowledge base where you can find those articles. So I'm just highlighting this, making sure that privacy policy is highlighted. I'm still in properties up here. And then right here, you can see where it's asking to change the link. So I'm going to write privacy policy. And also just keep in mind, we do have written tutorials in our knowledge base for just about every single one of these steps that I'm going over. It won't necessarily be for this template, but if you get stuck, you'll just go to our knowledge base, type in, footer, privacy policy, things of that nature, and it'll bring up all the help desk articles that we have related to that topic. So now I'm going to hit change URL. So it's going to default to empty link. So that's just going to be a non-clickable link. You can type in a web address here, which is what I'm going to do. So I just went to Bucket. I'm going to copy this, paste it in there. And then you can tell the system how you want the link to open. So do you want it to open in a new window, which is what we recommend, or do you want it to populate in this window? So I'm going to go ahead and change this. And then you have other options here, jump to, and then single page builder. So this is what I was telling you about, and I may lose this if I click over. I think I just did, but that's okay. So you click single page, and then once you set up your different single pages in Bucket, it's going to ask you which one you want. So then you can see here, I've already got 2 made. And again, I'm not going to go into the single page builder today, but you can certainly find help in our knowledge base on how to create those pages. Oh, it's, excuse me, still there. And then I'm gonna hit done. And that's pretty much it. So you would work your way through the rest of the footer, changing out the terms of service, contact. Again, just delete anything you don't need. My changes are saved. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next section. I'll preview this really quick so you can see that the video is in fact in there. So I'm going to click the preview button. And there's my video. Click out of there. So now we're done with the landing page. I'm going to go back to the canvas. So again, this is where we're kind of building this whole flow out, and you can always hide this if you want as well. So you can see the whole funnel. So we did the pre-quiz page, we edited all the questions, we made sure that all of our connections are made, there's no warnings up here. Now we're going to quiz results, which I informed you earlier. You do not have to touch, you can just leave this as is. I don't even think you need to change the name of it because we're literally just sending all survey takers through the same quiz result page. So moving on to lead capture, this is a very important section where you're going to ask for their contact information. So I'm just going to hit edit. Again, there's really not much you need to edit here. If you didn't want to, you wouldn't have to touch anything on this page. It's very straightforward. Please tell us your name and email so that we can notify you when these resources are available. Little note down here, and then we're asking for first name, last name, email address, phone number, and Skype ID. If there's anything that you don't want to include, you would just highlight that and then go ahead and hit the trash can and it'll be deleted. Button, you can leave that as continue. And I think we did go over how to change out the button color. So that's very easy to do as well if you wanted to change that. So we can go ahead, I'll just make it a blue color. So that's really all you have to do there. Nothing if you're fine with that orange button or just changing out the color of the button, and you can move on. So then I'm going to go back to the canvas. So I'm just clicking back up here. And then the final piece is the thank you page. So I'm going to hit edit. Again, not a lot to do up here. I'm going to change out this logo. So I'll show you that one more time. This one made it a little large, so I'm just going to click on it and then resize it by grabbing these handles and dragging it in a little bit. That's more like it. I'll change the color again since it's kind of washed out on this teal color. So I just highlighted this whole section. Hit the properties. I'm going to scroll down. Oops. There we go. Now I'm on the whole row. And then this populates as the color, and I'll just switch it to a gray. So then this message just says, wait, your application is not complete. You have one more important step. Again, just leave that text as is. If you absolutely want to change it, you just click in the box, highlight the text, and then delete it. Video again, so you're going to follow the exact same steps that we did last time. You're just highlighting that whole section. You're in properties, scroll up to the top. You're going to change the properties. Wistia is there, but I'm going to use YouTube again. Delete this, go back to YouTube, copy my ID, and then hit save video. So something that's important to note, unfortunately, those changes that we made to the footer on the landing page do not transfer over to this section. So you will have to go through this and change this all again. This is very important though, because you want to make sure that you have the correct info down here if you are going to use a footer. So about us, I was just going to delete that. And then again, I would change out the link for my privacy policy. So now when you've got all of your changes done to that, we can just go back to the canvas. So we've got everything completed here. You may want to just preview it again at this point because we're about to publish it. So you want to make sure that all of the changes that you wish to make to your funnel are done before you're publishing it, because this is something important to note. Once it's published, you're kind of limited on the things that you can change at that point. So you're not able to remove a question and add a new question or completely redesign the landing page or things of that nature. So just make sure, I mean, you can go back and like change some design elements. And if you find any typos, you can edit typos, but that's kind of what you're limited to at that point. So I would just take some time to preview it. If you have some friends or family members, you might want to send them the preview link and have them click through it. They might notice something that you didn't. But once you're ready to publish, you're just going to go up here to the publish button. Click that. So when it comes to selecting your domain, you have these to choose from. So it's completely up to you. It can be bucketforms.com, bucket pages, quizzes, surveys. I'm going to go with bucket forms. So you just pick the one that you want. And then when you're 110% sure that you're ready to publish, you just hit publish funnel. And that's as easy as it is to get your funnel ready to go. And then you can just copy and go ahead and paste your links. So however you're choosing to send that out, whatever y'all are discussing and what is recommended in the training, and then you're ready with that. So a couple things that we'll go over here. I'm just going to click out of here. Well, actually, let's see. I'm going to click out of here really fast. So now this is the one that I just did, your funnel here. So I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the funnel link. So I did copy that. So now it's just opening up. I'm going to click through this really fast so that I can show you where to find the results. So I'm going to click here to continue. All right, I'm just going to stop there because that should be enough to show you. Refresh that. So you can see here, I didn't quite go through the entire thing, but I did just want to show you that it logged a visitor and a participant. I did not complete it or opt in, so it kind of dropped out. But the reason I wanted to show you is so that you can look at your results. So you'll get a snapshot of all your results right here, or your answers, I should say. Then if you kind of want to drill into your analytics, just click this middle icon here. You can look at the overall analytics of each section, or you can just drill into the specific responses. So I'm going to go to responses so you can see that. This will be very short. You can see that I kind of skipped the last name, all the contact information, but when your participant enters that info, it's all going to show up there. And then these are my answers. So I just typed in test, option 2, test, test, and then I dropped off at that point. but I just wanted you to be able to see how you access all of your data. You can export all of your responses as well. So you just hit export. You'll type in your email address and you'll get a CSV sent to that email. And then you can take that data and you can manipulate it however you choose. So I'm just going to click back out of here by hitting this arrow. So that's really all that it takes to take this funnel and make a few small changes to it and get it ready to be published. One other thing I'll show you is this little option button over here. So if you want to quickly grab your funnel link, you can just click this. It'll pull it up really fast. If you ever wanted to duplicate the funnel, and that would be for if you happen to publish and then you decided you want to make a pretty drastic change to it, you would have to duplicate your funnel first, then go back in and make the changes. And then if you do that, I recommend always coming in and deleting the original version, just so that you're not, getting yourself confused. And then any funnels that you're no longer using, you can unpublish here as well. So you can unpublish it first and then delete it. If you need to change the name of the funnel, just click this little pencil here. New name for the funnel. And it does help too, if you're using a lot of templates, you can see here, I've got a lot of copy of. If you keep using our templates, it's just going to keep having the same name. So if you find a template that you really like, it's just going to say copy of. So it's always important to kind of go in here, to keep everything kind of organized. And so you don't go crazy trying to find the funnel that you're looking for. So just change that name out. And then I know I was talking about the support center. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here. So it's this little orange question mark that says help. I know they've been talking about how to locate this. Of course, we've got your high ticket bootcamp section right here for you. But I had been mentioning single page builders, which I feel like some of you may want to take advantage of if you do want to go ahead and set up a privacy policy and things of that nature. So I'm just going to type in single page, or didn't even get to single. There we go. So we've got a couple different articles here. Single page builder, and ESP overview. I'll just click on that so you can see. So this is what our help articles look like. We try to provide as many pictures that are labeled as possible. We do even use some GIFs from time to time. So, if you get stuck with anything, feel free to check out the knowledge base. We pretty much have every topic covered. So if you, that could be a really good place for you to go if you need anything at all. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. So again, templates up top is where you want to start. You're just going to head in. We're focusing on the high ticket application funnel. Please head to the knowledge base if you have any questions. We've got that whole section for you right here. So we've kind of broken down different things if you forget, how to do the video tutorial or anything like that. And then of course, if you have any questions at all, you can always email us at support@bucket.io and we'll be happy to help.